Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to our weekly Mtoto News Insights. My name is Omar Ahmed. But before we get to the news stories, let's get our headlines today. Schools reopening as senior classes to report on Monday. UNICEF lauds Kenya's decision to reopen schools. Close to 30 cases of missing children are reported every day in Kenya. Activists sue state to block school reopening. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha on Tuesday announced the reopening of public and private schools after 6 months of closure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In a statement to the newsrooms, CS Magoha notified the public that the progressive reopening of schools will commence with Grade 4, Class 8 and Form 4 on Monday, 12th October 2020. According to the revised 2020 school calendar, candidates and Grade 4 learners returning to schools on Monday will continue Term 2 with the learning until December 23rd, before proceeding for a one-week Christmas break. Term 3 will then begin on January 4th, 2021 to March 19th, 2021. The Kenya Certificate of Primary Education will commence on March 22nd and end on March 24th next year, whereas Kenya's Certificate of Secondary Examination will start on March 25th and end on April 16th next year. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has lauded the Ministry of Education's announcement to reopen schools from next week. UNICEF representative to Kenya, Maniza Zaman, says the longer children are out of schools, the greater risk that the poorest among them will never return, as some might get into child labor or get married off. Dropout rate for children at primary school level in Kenya was estimated at 20% before the COVID-19 outbreak. Prolonged closure of schools means more children drop out of the system. UNICEF said the closure of schools in March this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic interrupted learning for over 17 million students who missed more than 6 months of formal education. Close to 30 cases of missing children are reported every day in Kenya as families battle with thoughts of whether their loved ones are alive or dead. According to a 2019 report by the National Crime and Research Center, Kenya was ranked 17 out of 19 on the list of countries whereas child kidnappings are rampant. Children are abducted mainly through an intricate web of deception, for example, by perpetrators offering gifts. Young children are especially susceptible to this trick. The International Center for Missing and Exploited Children says 8 million children go missing annually, which translates to nearly 22,000 children every day around the world. 2 activists in Homa Bay have filed a petition in court seeking the suspension of phased reopening of schools planned from Monday next week. Michael Kojo and Evans Olo claim many schools have not put in place necessary measures to ensure the spread of COVID-19 is controlled. The case was filed before Homa Bay Senior Principal Magistrate Thomas Obutu on Wednesday, who certified it as urgent. In the application, Mr. Kojo and Mr. Olo want the court to compel Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha to issue new dates for reopening of schools, proposing January next year. The petitioners argued that the Ministry of Health has not given a green light that all schools are safe for learning. Further, the petitioners accused Professor Magoha of changing the academic calendar without the approval of the National Assembly. Mr. Obutu scheduled the matter for an inter-party hearing on October 21st. Award-winning actress Lupita Nyong'o's new book, Sulwe, Meaning Star, is finally on Kenyan bookshelves. Announcing via Twitter on 1st October, Nyong'o said the book can now be found in English, Swahili, and her mother tongue, Luo. In the book, Nyong'o creates a heartwarming story to inspire children to see their own unique beauty. The powerful moving picture book is about colorism, self-esteem, and learning that true beauty comes from within. Sulway, a character in the book, has the skin color of midnight. She is darker than everyone in her family. She is darker than everyone in her school. Sulway just wants to be beautiful and bright, like her mother and sister. And then, a magical journey in the night sky opens her eyes and changes everything. Let's get on to international news. Save the Children is warning that dozens of children have been killed, injured, and recruited by armed groups in a recent surge of violence and civil unrest in Colombia. Since January, Colombia has witnessed 65 massacres which have killed 260 people. Save the Children warns of the devastating impact recruitment has on the children, with many being subjected to abuse, witnessing killings and sexual violence, being forced into violence themselves, and ripped away from their communities and homes. The organization also warns that children are deeply affected by this violence, with adolescents and young people reportedly among the victims. That's all we had for you today, but for more information you can catch us at our social media platforms at Mtoto News or visit our website at www.mtotonews.com for information about jobs and events for children. My name is Omar Ahmed.